some of the politicians them and some of we within at the diaspora, they in the habit for the send misinformation to the public. By that I mean, in the case of this chancery building, where the defense lawyers them say them for to where this case say Dr. Samura and no Dede, it really frustrating for lay where then say no say in and Dede, then the deny say Dr. Samura and no de pandis chancery building corruption. But Dr. Samura na been the foreign minister the same way the Chinese government be fund that chancery building there. Now let me listen to Dr. Samura in press conference where he be held on the 6th of October 2022. Just after where he be come out in court on this particular case.
Today, I want us to concentrate on one issue, and that is that relating to the current investigations by the Anti-Corruption Commission on a matter relating to the refurbishment or reconstruction of our chancery building at the United Nations in New York. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the developments or what is happening.
To begin with, I did inform the ACC that this project was born by the intentions and, of the late President APC Kamara. We visited the United Nations and saw the building. I don't know how many of you have been to New York, but this building is one of, in terms of cultural heritage, it's a listed building. What it means is that you must not touch that building without serious permission of the New York State. So therefore, any contractor that is brought in to do work must have been approved by the US, more particularly by New York State. So Pakala saw this building. Then I was financial secretary, and he raised questions. Say, why can't we develop this building? It coincided with the treasury building that was burnt. We didn't have enough funds. We didn't have funds to do both the treasury building as well as do this New York building. So we do not move with that project. Under President Nkrumah, we revived this. But by the time we revived it, staff at the New York office in the Chancery had already had a good relationship with the Chinese government. And through this cordial relationship, the Chinese government provided $2 million towards this project. During our time, a technical and interministerial committee was set up, which had the Minister of Justice, Finance, Foreign Affairs, Works, principally Works, the Procurement Authority, and these institutions, and of course the Chancery, were responsible for the execution of this project. And during that time, I can remember the remittance that was made, the $2 million, when I became minister, I knew the difficulties of a Chancery and the way Chanceries manage public funds. I advised that these funds be transferred to the central bank here in Sierra Leone to be held in a dedicated manner for this project. Of course, it was difficult for me at the time to convince the head of Chancery. But it was done, the funds were transferred there and kept in a dedicated account. There was one disbursement, if I can remember vividly, and that was it. Contracts were awarded, work started. I think the first type of work that started was asbestos clearing. And that's the most dangerous aspect of refurbishing a building that has historic value, that is of age in places like New York, in Germany, all over in England. Because there was a strong asbestos base when you were building those buildings. And today, asbestos has become one of the most dangerous. So therefore, it took them a lot of time to clear that. That's why probably did not go too far with the project. So now, if we have moved that stage, came 2018, I understand additional funds were also obtained from the government of China to continue works. Shortly after, what did we hear? We saw this African Express. Okay. Crying foul. Not about the conceptualization of the project, not about procurement of the project. It was about the transfer of funds to continue works into the project. So my question to this was this. You will find in the statement. There's never been a problem with procurement processing. The questions were, it was alleged that the funds that were transferred were not spent on the building. Where did these funds go? And we're all aware, many of you are aware that to date, there have been some efforts at recovering some of these funds. We all have read it in the press so many times, you know, this sort of thing. So now, isn't that a substantive matter? If it were not African Express, would we have been investigating procurement? No. We would not have. If we had problems with refurbishment, honestly, you would have seen it in the manifesto, in the SFP manifesto. That we're going to investigate this New York building. We are not sure. We're not happy. It was never there. It was not even at the GTT report. So why are we throwing in the baby with the bathwater? Why? This must be focused. One of the cankerworms, the mining constraints of development in this country, is corruption.
And first of all, we all know the press conference where Dr. Samura be hold on the 6th of October 2022. And we all hear everything he say. He said, late President Kaba was the brain behind this particular building. By then, in the Dr. Samura, now be the financial secretary. So, then began for buy that building there. And the building, there are so many works where began for be done from that building. They say, but during President Kaba in regime, they not be able to do that. So, they can revive the building under President Nkrumah in regime, where the Chinese government will provide $2 million towards the project of that building there. And then him now be the foreign minister. He said he advised the embassy for let them transfer the money where the Chinese government will fund for the renovation of that building there na Freetown. And he said it be very difficult for convince the head of chancery na that building there for send the money na Freetown. And he said the money where they send na Freetown, then be keep them na a dedicated account. And he go on for say again, 2018, the Chinese government be send another additional fund for let them continue the work. And we only agree with Dr. Samura they say the fund where them be sent, they not be spent on the building. So who side the fund go? So people them where they out there, where they misinformed people them. Say Dr. Samura and no dey pan this case. Well, this na press conference where Dr. Samura be hold, where in the talk to the press for saying na so the thing be happen. So politicians and we waiting at the diaspora and waiting at the media, let we left for the deceive or misinformed people them. Pantin where we say no say, na so the thing happen. But me family, this not to Baba Sheikh say, I just interpret waiting Dr. Samura just don't say. It's up to una for Leona Judge.